Metro Ghetto.
Hi everybody, welcome to this week's Ghetto vlog. I'm making a very early start today because I've got big plans. We're going to jump straight into it. Last week I said how I enjoyed just using this room for its primary function, right? Relaxing, drinking tea, playing video games. And that's true, I had a great week. However, I'm ready to jump back into making some changes. I've been sitting here lately and I think there's a big change in here that I can make. I've just, for some reason, it's never entered my mind. Often the best changes are the most simple ones, right? And I've been staring at this for a couple of days now, thinking to myself, this could work and it could make a massive difference to the room in terms of like the layout and also in terms of adding yet more storage to enable me to buy more stuff. Basically, what I'm thinking is move the 360 kiosk to the end of that newly added unit. I think what that would do is sort of give me a nicer area of which to actually play the kiosk, and also it frees up all that space behind it, for which I have a plan. We'll get to that should I be happy with what it looks like once I move it. Also on this vlog, guys, I think I'm going to be buying probably the biggest and probably most expensive thing I've bought since I've been in this room. So yeah, there's a lot of changes coming this week to the 3.0. Let's jump straight into it, shall we? Right, okay, so as I say, the plan is to move this unit to here. I'll probably end up moving the standee as well, but for now I'm trying to put it into position just so I can see how I feel. If I hate it, we can abandon the idea before I progress any further, but yeah, let's get this big, heavy, cumbersome thing moved, shall we? Okay, so it's in position, and my first thought is that I don't hate it. Part of me was expecting to see it and be like, no, definitely not, it doesn't work. But you know what? It kind of works. It fits a lot better than I thought it would. There's loads of space here, look, comfortably. You're not sort of like having to squeeze down this narrow gap. There's plenty of room here. I don't know, it almost feels like it's more inviting where the kiosk is now. Like, I don't know, almost feels more like I just want to turn it on and play it here. Feels like prime position. Great view of the rest of the room. Yeah, I don't hate it. I definitely think it's something that I need to keep looking at, to sort of get used to it, but I think once we tidy up the wires as well, which are protruding from the back here, there is a bit of work I need to do to this kiosk. But yeah, I'm kind of pleasantly surprised. When I moved this room around and we tried my arcade 1-up Pac-Man machine here, I think what was throwing me off that I didn't like was the fact that the kiosk was here. And it's hard to explain, but having like two upright units facing the same direction but not being next to each other and then being very different in terms of shape and scope, I think that's what was throwing me off. I think by getting rid of that one and just putting this here, and I can still see through the gap, I can still see my Red Dead standee. Yeah, I actually like it. It ties in brilliantly with the 360 games here, and more importantly than all of that, look at all this space, for which I think I've got a plan, right? So in theory, and we're going to test this theory shortly, I can put another billy and a riser across here. It will fit, I've measured it, comes to roughly there. The 3 upper shelves of the Sega wall could then theoretically be extended right up until Kratos. So we'd have the Sega wall would be even bigger, right? Or I could put like this standee up there, for example. There's options we can play around with. But yeah, it's going to create a lot more space for me. I'm also thinking, this is something I'm going to have to test because I'm not sure if there'll be enough space. I could theoretically have another billy and a riser running across here, but because I don't recline this chair, the guest chair, I couldn't recline it anyway because it's where the kiosk was previously. I could theoretically have a unit running across here and then a unit running this way behind the chair, so I could create like another sort of whole opening of shelving for even more games and toys and all that other great stuff that I love to hunt and buy. So yeah, there's a lot of potential. But right now I'm just happy that I don't hate this here. And maybe I'd test it without the standee, because if I do keep this here, this wire would probably have to run between the middle of this unit, right? Underneath. So I'd probably have to raise the standee at least. So I probably would try it as just a clear white back, see how that looks. But I don't even hate the standee being there, to be honest. Yeah, pleasantly surprised at that. But like I say, to test the theory, I think what I'm going to have to do is empty a couple of these shelves. So probably this one's going to be the easiest one. So I'll empty all this, pull it out, see how it looks here, and then potentially a second one come in here, just so we can get a real good idea of how it looks. The last thing I want to be doing is taking another trip to IKEA unless I'm 100%, which is why I'm going to move all these shelves around just to see exactly how it would look. There is a game hunt I've got in mind that I could tie into a trip to IKEA as well, somewhere I've never been. But yeah, we'll get to that later. I've got enough on. Okay, so the first unit is in. Now obviously what you've got to take into account with doing something like this is the space you're going to lose here in terms of what's going to be covered. So you can see it's going to eat into quite a large chunk of this. That will of course be offset by the fact you're gaining a whole unit, but you have to take that into account before you make a decision that you are going to lose a chunk of what's you know, is existing game space. Obviously this will look different again once this is at the same height as this. Once the riser's on, but theoretically it fits perfectly, and like I say, it would create another corner here. It'll look better obviously once riser's on and this has all been neatened up to accommodate this. But yeah, theoretically guys, I think I'm onto something here. I genuinely really like this here. Okay, so as you can see, I've destroyed my games room. I've borrowed the riser from this one here so I can get the full effect. I think it looks really good. Just really takes advantage of this space now. Yeah, I'm really happy with that. And theoretically, as it stands, I've gained this much space, right? Because obviously we lose what's behind here. We already had a full unit, which is this. So yeah, this much space is what I've gained currently, as well as also gaining a corner piece here. Whatever can go on top of here, and the fact I can run 3 lots, or should I say extend 3 more of the Mega Drive shelves right the way across to Kratos on the throne. It's like, I know that once minimalist, like open room is no more, but I think that's inevitable with any games room, right? That kind of very zen, everything white, nothing on show. That's not really what a collection room is. As collections grow and evolve, it's about evolving the games room. And I think what's imperative is that it doesn't become overcrowded to the point where things become an inconvenience. I've had it before in games rooms where you can't recline chairs, you can't walk through certain things without having to like shuffle sideways, and I definitely don't have that. even with these new changes, I can still comfortably walk everywhere. I've just created what is ultimately like a museum, I guess, right? Like a carefully curated way to display the things I love, and yeah, I'm really happy with it. I think it looks great. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Obviously, nothing really ever conveys the same on camera as it does in reality, but I'm really happy with the changes, or potential changes. What I now need to do is see if there's any potential in putting another unit in here behind the sofa. I'm not sure, but it's definitely worth exploring. Okay, so the easiest unit for me by far to move is this half billy here, which will be a good barometer as well to see how much space I have there. And yeah, I'm going to empty this, put that over there, and see how it looks. Okay, so that definitely doesn't work. I mean, even if it didn't look horrendous, someone sits there, it moves. Yeah, that was a poor idea. But you got to try these things, right? Can't win them all. However, this I think works. This I think works. I think the best thing for me to do now is just sort of live with this for a couple of days, get used to seeing it like this, walking in the room, seeing it as it is, and yeah, make a decision from there. Because like I say, there is potentially going to be a very big new addition to the room, so we'll potentially get that in situ, and then potentially look at putting this in permanently. As you can see, I am on location at Costco. It's been a long time since I've been Costco. I no longer remember, but luckily I know somebody that is. I've got wind that there's something here that I've been after for many years. I say many years, probably about 2 years since it was announced. It was ridiculously expensive at launch, sold out in America in 10 minutes, finally got them in the UK, finally at somewhat of an acceptable price. I'll get into that later, but yeah, let's go and take a look, and let's make a questionable life choice. I don't know what it is about the Costco experience, but I always kind of enjoy it, right? I always get here like full of optimism. I know, a bit like IKEA, I'm going to be leaving with a full stomach if nothing else, but let's take a quick look and see what we can find before we go and get what I came. Guys, I love it. I think it's great, but I don't know if it's the artwork that I love more than the games and the machine itself. Like, the price point's a lot of money. I thought being here and seeing it would make me buy it. If anything, being here, seeing it, being hands-on with it, it's making me second guess whether I want it. I'm gonna have to sort of move my room around to buy it. There's a lot of negatives, and I thought all of that would be subsided by how much I'd want it and how much I'd love it, but I don't want to say I feel underwhelmed. I just don't feel £420 love, right? So last thing I want to do is spend this much money on something, get it back, and then regret it. So with regret, I think we're going to pass on it. It's a shame. Return
the other cabinets they previously put out, there's like X-Men versus Street Fighter ones. This kind of renders them obsolete, except for one game, which might have been the game to pull me in even more so than Marvel vs. Capcom. That is Punisher. The Punisher, which has never really had a decent port. It's had a Mega Drive port, which isn't the best, and it's very expensive. So I don't know, maybe. But yeah, I just don't think I'm feeling it enough to justify the spend. Okay, so it's been a couple of days since my failed Costco trip. I mean, I got a chicken bake. I don't know if you can class that as a failure. But yeah, I've been slowly putting my room back together, the units back in place. There's a reason why I've not put the PlayStation 3 games back on yet. We'll get to that later. The unit's back in place down here. However, I decided to leave this one here and the kiosk here just so I could live with it, as I say, and yeah, I'm really happy with it. I've been living with it in this room. I keep popping my head back in every now and again just to open the door, turn the lights and have a look, close the door, go and crack on with some jobs in the real world. But yeah, I'm really happy with the layout. So I think what we're going to do today is fly to IKEA. As I say, I think I mentioned it earlier in the vlog, there is a game hunt I can tie in. There's a place that we can go to on the way back that I've never been to. There's a CEX and 10 charity shops there. So I'm excited for that. That's incentive enough, right? But before we leave for that, just want to quickly highlight what I've been playing in the last few days. So yeah, last night I started playing Drainus. Been wanting to play this for quite some time. Shout out to Strictly Limited. They sent me the collector's edition a while back. Really enjoying it. There's a couple of the mechanics that I'm not quite getting the hang of. Like, you can upgrade certain things. I need to resort to the instruction books, I think, just to make sure I'm sort of fully, you know, aware of what's going on, because I can't quite get to grips with like switching weapons and things like that, even though I've bought upgrades for them. So I'm going to read the manual, but yeah, really enjoying it. The mechanics are fantastic. It's got a different mechanic, but it's somewhat similar to games like Ikaruga. The way in which you have to drain the enemy shots, and certain shots can be drained, certain can't be drained. It's very much like a switching on and off type system. Very good game, one that I'm really looking forward to hopefully getting some time to playing tonight. Because I say I've only put like an hour or so into this one so far. And the other game I've got sitting here is the Chaos Engine. I did a mini review on this for the Ghetto Gang. Shout out to the Ghetto Gang. So that review is live now. If anybody wants to support myself and the channel further, there will be a link below to the Ghetto Gang. But yeah, there's a review of that live on there now. So yeah, that's the games I've been playing. Let's go to IKEA, shall we? Oh, look at this guy.
Don't if your pants too tight on you. One cookie better than two. If you can no longer see your shoe.
I'm not sure this is politically friendly in 2023.
What? What these?
2001.
I thought that was a coat. One cookie better than two. If your husband is getting best of you.
Okay, so I'm just kicking off with my regular IKEA breakfast, and what a great start to the day that was. Called in at the local on the way here, and whenever you see a bundle of Wii games, the two games that I'm always hoping for are Wii Sports Resort and Super Mario Galaxy 2. And there was one other game that I picked up, that was Sonic and the Black Knight. I'm going to keep this one. I don't think I've got it in the collection. It's just £3 trade-in, so the incentive to trade it in is already there. And big franchises like Sonic, I like to add them to my collection. But yeah, I spent £4.50. I think there's £18 total trade-in value here, so not a bad start at all to the day. As I say, from here we're going to fly somewhere on the way back, charity shops and a CEX, so I'll be trading 2 of these games once we get there. But right now I'm going to finish my breakfast, go and grab this Billy and the riser. I'm not sure I'm going to grab the shelves today to extend the Mega Drive wall. I think I'll probably just wait a few weeks, see how, you know, get used to the look of the room with the new units and everything. I might potentially put a standee there instead, so I'll figure that out down the line. There's no rush. But I just wanted to quickly address the fact that I didn't buy the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 unit. I've had a couple of days now to think about it. I've got a little bit of FOMO, not gonna lie, but I think I made the right call. Where I was going to put it is where this small unit is now. So basically where the arcade 1-up Pac-Man was before. It would have meant taking out a couple of the newly added SNES shelves for the height. Yeah, it was a lot of people. I would have been happy to make the sacrifice and call in some early Christmas presents to pay for it.
if I'd loved it, but the fact that I was on the fence and like, I think it's more the artwork on this cabinet. I think it's stunning. I think it was that more than anything that I wanted to buy it for, and I don't think that's good enough reason. I've always loved the idea of getting good at a fighting game, right? So many times I've thought, right, I'm going to dedicate myself, but I think I like the idea of being good more so than the actual taking the time to get good. So I don't know, I think I made the right decision, even though there's part of me that wishes I had it right. But let me know in the comments what you think about it. But yeah, I didn't buy it, I'm gonna live with it. It's just taking up more room in the games room ultimately that I haven't really got. So yeah, we're gonna get what we need to get from here and then go on a little hunt. Okay, so I'm here in Beeston. I don't think I've ever been here in my life, but according to Google, there's a CEX 10 charity shops, and that's enough for me to make a slight detour. So the first one is British Heart Foundation, just across the road, so wish me luck. I used to think that Oxfam was probably the most expensive charity shops for video games and stuff. They're all individually priced, but they did have a nice selection. Everything was sort of nicely displayed, and yeah, they had like decent choice. But British Heart Foundation, just do my shoelaces. British Heart Foundation in recent years, the NHL 2K10 game they were selling for £5. I think it's 75p in CX or £1, something like that. Yeah, I mean, listen. Charge what they want. I'm all for charities making money, but there's got to come a point, right, where you're just never going to sell it. Anyway, CEX is right in front of me. Let's go there. Yes, that was a decent CEX, big, nicely laid out. The manager was the same manager that used to be at Bulwell that gave me the Maximum Carnage unbox, so I had a good chat with him. If you're the Beeston PS3 Essentials hunter, let me know. I find it very weird that there was hardly any PlayStation 3 Essentials on the shelf, and the ones that were there were like quite badly damaged, so it makes me wonder if one of you guys is hunting them in this area. But yeah, I'll keep checking on because there's a few more charity shops to look into, including here. Max there. Very few and far between that you see like retro toys and stuff nowadays, so it's nice to see that Mighty Max. They had £15 on it. I opened it up, I don't think there was a Max of any of the little figures inside, so it wasn't worth picking up, but nice to see that kind of thing anyway. On to the next. So that is Beeston done. Quite a lot of places to hunt. Ultimately, any hunt's only as good as what you find, and I didn't really find anything worth buying. My experience was that a lot of things are quite expensive compared to charity shops in other areas. And that last one, you might have saw there was an N64 controller, black, looked in good condition. A good price at £10 if you want it. But in terms of trading, you only get £12 trade, and you know, with controllers, you never know. Once they've been tested, not worth it. I'm not going to try and make £2 off 10. That's just not high enough percentage for me. But yeah, decent CEX, and I got the vouchers that I needed. So let's get back to the 3.0 and build some more billies. Back in the 3.0, and guys, I made a mistake. It dawned on me when I was driving home. There was a game that I picked up in CEX, and I remember thinking, oh, I need to look that one up because I'm sure it's like a variant or one I've looked at previously. It's very rarely in stock at CEX. I completely forgot. Got back, checked on my phone. The only one in stock in the country, Beeston. One listed on eBay for like 4 times the price. None in the sold listings. The one that is listed says very rare. So yeah, I ordered it. It's cost me £3, that mistake. Could have bought it there and then, but you'll see it on next week's vlog what I'm talking about. But yeah, we're back. I've got all my stuff to build. But before we get building, we need to get this filled back up. Okay, with that done, let's build. Unit built, the riser built, let's get them attached. Right, that's it, it's all built, but before we get to the exciting bit of getting everything sorted out here, getting all this unit set up and getting all this looking better than ever, I want to address this area. So on last week's vlog, I separated the PlayStation 3 games, right, and gave Essentials their own shelf, the rest of them are up there. I think I probably did it the wrong way around, because obviously you don't really see that side as much, and I think it'd be nice to have that clear block of red here. There's a lot of sort of like multicolours going on everywhere else, so I'm going to switch PlayStation 3 games around. I think, yeah, we'll put PlayStation 3 Essentials here, standard ones there, and we'll run it that way. I think that looks better. Also added Sonic and the Black Knight. I think that's most of the Sonic games now on the Wii. Okay, so it's time to turn my attention to this then now. It's not as simple as just throwing games in it. It's quite a lot we've got to figure out. Firstly, I think this standee's got to come off. Even if I decide to keep it here, we've got to run the cable, which goes through the back of the kiosk. I think the best way to do it would probably be to go down the middle, unless it separates it too much. The other option would be to simply tuck it in around the edge. That might be a better option. So we'll take a look at that. I'll look at all the available options and then, yeah, I'll do whatever's best. Okay, so I've been cracking on with some of the boring jobs before we can get to filling this with games and making it all look great. The first thing I needed to do was cable management. So I've put the wire that comes out the back of the kiosk, I've just sort of put it down there. I think that was the easiest way to do it. You'll never see that, it's hidden away behind the standee. And then I've run it around the back of those games. I've affixed a power brick there. And what I'm going to do is just simply tack the cable across the top of the skirting board to hide all that. But as you can see, there's loads of other things I need to do. I need to hoover up, I need to polish, a whole host of sort of boring medial jobs I need to do before I can do the fun stuff of getting this filled up. So that's what I'm going to do now for the rest of the night. I'm going to get myself into a position that tomorrow morning we can start the good stuff, right, and getting this all looking perfect. So I'll see you then. I'll check in with you guys tomorrow.
Ghetto.
Good morning. As you can see, we're making a very early start today. That's because this is my last day to get this done. So I'm going to really try and get everything in this room done, get this room looking better than ever by the close of play today. As you can see, the storm has hit just from going from the conservatory to in here. Yeah, it's torrential out there, but thankfully it's nice, it's bright inside 3.0. we're going to crack on. The reason this is my last day is because I've got lots planned for the rest of this week. I'm doing some great things with some great people, and that'll all be coming to the channel over the next week or so. So yeah, keep it locked to the Retro Ghetto for all that good stuff. But yeah, let's crack on after I've had my tea. Okay, so as promised last night, I figured out my cabling situation. We also got cleaned up down here. So what we need to do now is get all the 360 games taken out. I'm going to do my trunking hack, but I'm going to put it in that way to stop the games going behind this unit here. And then we're going to reconfigure the whole Xbox 360 layout. Yeah, so first things first, let's get all these games off the shelves. And the shelves were bare. So, as I say, now it's time to do the trunking hack. I've got approximately 22 inches. I was going to say to play with, but I can imagine the comment section. I've got 22 inches for video games. That's better. And I'm going to run, as I say, just a little bit more trunking hack down each one of these. Just to stop those games falling behind here where you won't see them. Just one of them problems that you have in a games room, right? If you ever try and sort of block part of a shelf, you have this continual issue of games falling. So we're going to put a bit more shelving hack there to stop that from happening, and then we can finally start getting the games in. Okay, so almost a week after I conceived this idea, we're about ready to start adding some games. But before I do that, I had to make a secondary cup of tea. I'm hoping this one's going to allow me to open my eyes all the way. And I'll take this opportunity to open a few parcels, just a couple of small bits this week. But yeah, let's dig straight into them, shall we? So my friend reached out to me, shout out to Carl. He was in Ilkeston, and he asked if there's anything that he wanted him to look out for in, it is early, him to look out for in CEX Ilkeston. I said, look, have a look for PlayStation 3 Essentials for me. There was one in there, which I didn't already have, for the grand sum of £1. We have, get a sticker up, Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter. So I think this is about 35 essentials that I've got now. As I've said before, I'm in no rush to get the essentials set finished. I'm enjoying finding them in CEXs up and down the country. Hopefully I'll be grabbing some more this weekend, but yeah, just nice to have another one added. Shout out to Carl for that, much appreciated. Next up we have this one here. This was sent to me by a viewer of the channel, Sam. Sam reached out to me with this and he sold it to me for a good price, so it's much appreciated, Sam. Thank you very much, sir. This is, if I get into it, but this is more than we originally agreed. Appreciate it, Sam. Thank you very much. Sam messaged me with a few Lego minifigures, and there was only really one in there that I needed. I said to him there was a couple in there I could potentially use the same kind of theme, but in the end I said, look, there's only one I want. Looks like there's a note in here. To Retro Ghetto, hope the Lego figure finds you well. I would just like to thank you for all the great content you continue to make. It's a new Sunday tradition to watch the new vlog every Sunday morning. Keep on keeping it retro, all the best. Thank you very much, Sam. There might be a few extra surprises, just see them as an extra thank you for the great videos and a helping hand for the army. Top man, I love things like that, much appreciated, mate. So the one in which I paid for, it's complete, and it's rare that I get them complete. So very happy to be having this. It's one of my Romans. So these are the main ones that I want the army of, right? It's not really focusing. But yeah, these are what I want ultimately hundreds of, right, in theory. And creating new shelving areas like the one behind me will help me to display this army one day, right? But yeah, love that. Very, very happy to be adding a complete one to my army. And then the couple of figures that he's included are sort of on theme, right? And they could definitely be used in this world. This guy, definitely. So I think this is like one of the It's either a gladiator or a barbarian. I think I've got one or two of these already. So shout out to him for that. There's various weapons in here. Oh yes. Very happy with these. He's thrown in an extra couple of swords. Now these are the exact swords that the Romans need. So they're going to come in very handy. So I think I've got a couple that haven't got those. A couple of other weapons. And there's also what I believe is a Minotaur. And a Cyclops. So should I decide to make like a battle scene, it'd be great to have like similar mythological enemies, if you like. There's also like Medusas and stuff like that. So yeah, massive shout out to Sam for that. There's also an axe, a club and a spear. Yeah, that's going to be a great help to the army, Sam. Really appreciate it. Very kind of you, sir. And then the last one, I mean, it won't be a Ghetto vlog without something from Brad. Now this came from my mistake and I felt absolutely terrible about this. So last week I opened up what was the last VHS I needed for my WrestleMania VHS set. After I'd finished editing the vlog and I went to put it all away, I realised I'd made a mistake. It wasn't WrestleMania 11 that I needed, it was WrestleMania 6. So I messaged Brad, I said, mate, I'm really sorry, let me send it back to you. He didn't want it sending back and he wanted to send me the one that I didn't have. I mean, which is just Brad. Just a great guy. It's not just me. I saw a stream earlier this week, I think the Toy Division guys, and Rye was on it, Rye's Toys and stuff. And he was saying how Brad had sent him some stuff. And yeah, just a very generous guy, and that shows through his charity work as well. So once again, massive shout out to Brad. But he sent me the one I needed. So it was actually the Ultimate Challenge WrestleMania 6. So as you can see, it looks like Ultimate Warrior and Hulk Hogan. Also looks to be involving Macho Man Randy Savage and a couple of others. So now, finally, the WrestleMania VHS box set is complete. And Brad being Brad, it looks like he's thrown in a couple of other little bits. So Zelda, keyring. Oh, this one's nice. Like a bullet bill keyring as well. So Brad, absolute legend. They're running out of superlatives for you, mate, but it is much appreciated. So happy to finally have the WrestleMania box set completed. And yeah, I think it's now time to get that lot put in there. There. Okay, that's the bulk of the standard Xbox 360 games, just those last few up there to put in. What I'm going to do now is spend a bit of time configuring shelves, because I've got a lot of different sort of special editions, big box stuff, sleeve covers, steel books, all that kind of thing. I need to figure out which artwork I want on display, and yeah, probably a lot of trial and error, so I'm going to get all that figured out and then I'll show you guys once it's pretty much done. Okay, much time has passed. The shelves are done. I'm delighted with it. I'm going to show you guys the big unveil when it's all done, right? I want to get this room tidy, clean, looking at its best, and then we'll have a look at everything that I've done in that area. But before that, I want to tackle this kiosk. With this kiosk now being on display, it's really brought to the forefront the work I need to do to it. There's always been a few jobs that need doing. As you can see, there's a cable just running down here, which I sort of just bodged myself once, because the way this kiosk is set up, it doesn't want you to be able to run your own Xbox 360 through it. Some of the internal, I don't know the correct terminology, but basically if you use the wires it wants you to use, it sort of puts it into kiosk mode. So you have to kind of bypass all that by using your own wires. I'm sure there's probably a more technical way of doing it, but my limited skill set doesn't know what those ways are. So what I'm going to try and do is just sort of like take the back off it. It all needs a good deep clean anyway, and just basically get it looking its best. Hopefully get the wires hidden inside the internal so that ugly wire is not on display, and yeah, really get the kiosk the best it can be, as it's now sort of like forefront, right? It's front and center in the room. So that's my next job. Never start a job and then have instant regret. Yeah. Okay, so basically the story is I bought this very cheap. There were some students right the way in Liverpool, and they said, look, you can have this for this ridiculous price. It was like £100 if you come and get it tonight. And I jumped straight in my car, I got there about 10 o'clock at night, had to get it down a 3rd story student flat. It was disgusting. It stunk of smoke, it was full of rubbish, dust, chewing gum, the lot. It had been tampered with, which makes doing anything with it quite difficult. The screws had been used so many times that like the thread had worn, so it's difficult to get the screws in and out. I'm starting to realise now why I've not done these jobs before now. Okay, so eventually I've got the screws removed. One thing you learn about kiosks is they're not designed to be touched and played with, right? They're, yeah, a lot of it's like security screws and stuff like that. They do not want you to be doing this stuff. But right, we're in. That's gonna need a good clean. But this is what I was after. So this box here is what causes all the issues, right? This is the box which turns it into a kiosk, as I say. That looks like the light's on, it's not, it's just the lighting, don't worry. I'm not going to electrocute myself. So what I need to try and do is take these out and just wire them directly into my 360 console here. Hopefully, that should solve the problem. But there's a couple of other issues as well. I've got a couple of issues with controllers. Only one of the controllers turns the console on, and I had a wire running around to that. So again, I'm going to try and figure everything out whilst I'm in here. So I do not want to have to be doing this ever again. Ever again. Okay, so the power is on. Nothing's gone bang, so that's the first bonus. Right, okay, let's see if we can turn it on. That hasn't worked. Not this one. That hasn't worked. This one. That hasn't worked. Back to oh, the sound's working! Okay, so as it stands, everything's working. I've managed to figure out the wire situation, so we've got rid of that, which was my main goal, so there's no ugly wires now on show. We're using the wires correctly ran down the back of the system. The only concern I've got is I'm not able to turn the machine on with anything other than the power button on there. Now that's not good because that sits on it. It has like a plastic dome here, so you don't have to take that on and off every single time you turn it on. The way I had it previously was that this controller I didn't have plugged into the unit. I just kind of had it wired in and around, and then it went to the front, or in the back, sorry, and then you could turn it on and off that way, which it's not the end of the world, but I just thought it would be better without having that wire on display, right, just to make it look like it should look. Right, okay, I think I've got it all figured out, finally. Now it's time to give it a good deep clean, get it in position, tidy the room, show you guys what all this hard work's been for. Okay guys, I'm all done. I'm all cleaned up in the 3.0. It's time to show you the result. So here we go. I'm very happy with it. Just created this whole sort of like Xbox corner now. As well as like adding all the special editions and things, I've also put my Xbox One stuff in. And I was able to get all the big box 360 stuff that was previously down here. One of the things this has allowed me to do, of course, is free up more space. I think I've now got a total of 7 or 7.5 like empty billy shelves in the room. So there's loads of room now to keep growing, which will keep me future proof for quite some time. But yeah, very, very happy with how it looks. Anybody in the comments, let me know if you were doubting me, because there's part of me that doubted myself, I'm not going to lie. I wasn't sure how the end product was going to look, but is anybody else out there pleasantly surprised? Because I know I am. I think it looks great. Like I say, I've fully cleaned this up. This can now be turned on from this access hole down here. There was like a wire hanging there. There was loads of things that needed sorting out with this kiosk. It's never been cleaner. There's still quite a few things that we need to figure out. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep the standee there or move it. We've still got the wall situation here, whether I'm going to extend the Mega Drive or add something else, I'm not quite sure. But yeah, man. Very, very happy. And that's going to do it for another Ghetto vlog. And what a stacked week it's been this far, but we're still not over yet. I've got a big weekend planned. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm going out with some friends, some tubers. We're going to be doing some hunting, going to a few different locations, and all that content will be coming very soon to the channel, so keep it locked here for that. And I think more so than ever before, I want to hear from you guys. I want to know whether you think I should have picked up the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 arcade 1-up machine. I'm looking at the area now where it could have gone, where the old Pac-Man one used to be. It would fit there, a little bit of modification. Let me know whether you think I made the right decision on that. And of course, what you think of the newly created Xbox area that I'm currently sat in. You'll be seeing now a few different overlay shots of it. I'll be taking a few photos tonight when the lighting's different, and yeah, I think it looks great. Like I say, whilst the room is getting more full, I haven't lost the ability to comfortably use it, right? I can still walk around. There's no issues there, so yeah, I'm really happy with it. And for some reason, the kiosk just seems a lot more playable. Like, just every time I look at it now, I want to turn it on and play it, which is what it's all about. I don't know why, but yeah, it just feels a lot more inviting than it used to. But yeah, I'm really happy. We'll continue to tweak it, obviously, as the weeks and months go on. But yeah, massive thank you to everyone that take time to watch, everyone that's watched this far into the vlog. If you enjoy these vlogs and you're not subscribed, I would appreciate it if you could help me out and hit that subscribe button. But until next time, play your games, keep it retro, have a great Sunday. See you in a bit.
You're watching the Retro Ghetto.
Ghetto.
Ghetto!
Yeah.
Into the retro ghetto.